Now, joining us is Terry Ann Hart, founder and also the CEO of Fighters Club Boxing Promotions. Now, a civil engineer, entrepreneur, and also one of South Africa's leading boxing promoters. Terry Ann is also driving change through the Fight Like a Woman campaign and also a movement dedicated to celebrating opportunities for women and also changing perceptions of female boxing across Africa. Well, welcome to Africa at Play.
Thank you so much, Prudence. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, so now, Terry Ann, walk me through your journey. What actually inspired you to be part of, rather, in the boxing fraternity?
I saw an opportunity with the immense amount of talent that we have in this country, especially with females. And as well, I looked at it from a opportunity point of view of giving them better opportunities on the stage. And for me, it was about focusing and harnessing on that skill and giving them the platform.
Sure. And now, just take us through the battle at the island and also your own journey, or rather walking us throughout your own journey also.
Well, my journey has been quite a journey.
Yes.
But, it's you rise and you fall in the sport.
Sure.
That's how I call it. I started boxing myself about 2 to 3 years ago after my son was born.
Yes.
Great way of getting physically fit. And I fell in love with the sport. And from there onwards, I've always had a key eye on talent. And one of the girls that is fighting at Battle at the Island is Sarah Karim. And she was one of the major contributors for me starting Fighters Club because I saw the talent and I wanted to give it, obviously, the opportunity that we can create in this country.
Sure. And also, like you've mentioned, you founded the Fighters Club Boxing Promotion. So just give us a clear vision of elevating women's boxing here in South Africa.
A clear vision is having a tournament which consists of female fighters and across different weight divisions. It as well consists of giving them proper opportunities in terms of telling their stories on media and getting them proper sponsorships.
Sure. So when talking about getting proper sponsorship, so do you think that there is enough elevation as well as growth within boxing in South Africa, or women's boxing here in South Africa?
Definitely. I think it's on the up. It's one of those female sports that has been neglected in this country. However, we're here to change the narrative and to give the opportunities. If you look at some of the key sports, you look at women cricket, you look at women's rugby, look at men's netball, they're all up on the rise.
Yes.
And it's these, let's call it sports that you thought wouldn't necessarily do especially well in the opposite sex is now taking off.
Sure. And now the timing of the Battle of the Island, just a day before, National Women's Day, like, it actually feels a bit of symbolic. Also, just you being here and being able to tell us about this story. Was this intentional? And also, what message are you trying to convey to our listeners?
So I'm trying to convey that, as females and as mothers in this country, we have gone through so much. And our story at Fighters Club is, what are you willing to fight for? And that is, what are you willing to fight for inside the ring and outside the ring? So the hashtag Fight Like a Woman is all about necessarily understand what women have to go through on a day-to-day. And some of these female fighters are still doing 9-to-5s and training and then still, putting their lives at risk.
Yes. And also, I'm just reading here on the vacant WBF fly fight title, which actually features Smangele, also known as Smash, right? And also Hadebe against Owe Turula. So while the ABU SADC, if you could just tell me what's that about? And also the fly weight championship, C Sibulele, so Boise faces Asanda Simelani. So tell us on what we can be able to expect on those matches.
So we wanted to showcase the hottest talent of females in this country. And we wanted to give them something to fight for, which is basically titles. And we've got basically 3 SA titles up for grab, and then 2, obviously, Africa international titles as well. The reason for this is to showcase that women can put up a a pretty good tournament, and it's going to be very exciting.
Sure. When is that tournament taking place?
Well, I actually have a little bit of breaking news that I want to tell you after
Please
the break.
do. Oh,
But
okay.
it all just depends on when we go for break. So the
Right.
tournament is due on the 8th of August. And
Okay.
by coincidence, it's literally fell into our hands like that.
Okay.
But what we want to do is we are going to make a big announcement in terms of upgrading the tournament so that we can keep to Cape Town's demands.
Sure. Okay, not yet actually to take a break, but just tell us more on the Fight for Women campaign. That type of campaign, of course, like you've mentioned that previously, or rather before that, you're trying to convey the upliftment within boxing women here in South Africa. Besides just that, how important is it, most especially when coming to our local communities?
It's very imperative because these female fighters and male fighters, they come from most likely impoverished
Yes.
areas. And 100%, 10 to 1, what happens in their off time, they go back to these communities. And we've launched Fight and Feed alongside with this because with our previous tournament called Battle for Love, we really focused a lot on GBV. And our standstill was not just fighting for people inside the ring, but as well outside and feeding the communities. So we're partnering up with some of the big Cape Town brands to uplift and to give back to these communities and actually have feeding activations and then giving back to the community by allowing them to come to the tournament.
Sure. Well, it's just gone 18 minutes past 4 Central African time, and I am speaking with Terry and Hart, founder and CEO of Fighters Club Boxing Promotions. So, Terry, you said you are going to be surprising us.
Yes, I am. So, firstly, we are postponing the tournament from the 8th of August to the 22nd of August.
Wow.
This is due to, let's call it, popular demand.
Sure.
And then we are going to the arena. We are no longer going to be hosting at Market Hall, but taking Grand Arena. So that gives us the opportunity to obviously give more, no problem, give more tickets out there, and obviously for our sponsor to get more communities involved to come and watch the show.
Sure. So for those people who don't understand what that shift is about, tell us on what impact does it have in terms of that shift? Is it a bigger place?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's a bigger platform. Previously, Market Hall was going to give us an exposure of around, let's call it 700.
Oh.
In terms of numbers in participants, but now we can escalate it as high as to 5,000 tickets if needs be. Yeah.
So for more information, where can people go to get, or rather purchase the tickets?
So the tickets are available at itickets.co.za. There will be obviously some adjustments to the website coming Monday. The team is working hard on that.
Sure.
And then Fighters Club ZA has got their own Instagram account and Facebook, and everybody is welcome to DM them there.
Sure. And then also just talking about the sport in general, a lot of people view boxing as only a men's sport. I mean, like, just removing that type of stereotype that's actually happening. So what are you doing in order to promote the sport as a promoter?
You know, I'm trying to bring about a change in the way that it's perceived. Women bring about a little bit more finesse when they're up there on the stage. It is as well as exciting. Last night I was at a tournament as well. And, you know, for me, it's about if a man can do it, a female can do it as well. And I sometimes think, you know, the narrative for the change is that if you see the talent that we have, and you see the likes of Bernice Ferreira, if you see Smash, and you see Lova Amber, and you see these upcoming youngsters coming up from all across this country, we've only got a responsibility as leaders in this country to give them the tournaments and to give them the opportunities.
Sure.
So the more that people see and get exposed to this, and hopefully through Fighters Club, it will bring a change and a narrative to say that, you know what, female boxing is actually cool and it's probably pound for pound more exciting than what male boxing is.
Yes. I mean, like earlier you've mentioned partnerships and rather sponsorships within the event. So, how important is the growth of partnership and sponsorships within the boxing fraternity?
It's very important. A lot of these sponsors out there will say that because it's a combat sport, it's a lot more bloodier. If you look at a female, that's not going to be as bloody. You know, you're not going to get as much blows as what the men can dish out.
Yeah.
So it softens it a bit, and it as well, you know, it showcases that we've got this enormous amount of. Likes of Smash and everybody else, the more that they get exposed, the more that they can have a longevity in the industry and take it from boxing to coaching and beyond. So it's very important to get your sponsors aligned and obviously taken care of from the onset of your tournaments.
So, do you believe that South Africa has the potential and also the talent in building world championships?
Definitely. We've just seen the rise, of course, here in WBC, and I think that this is a great platform. Bernice is taking on as well a WBC in August, and you know what? We've been with her, we've walked the journey with her, and now she's at that platform of which she's going to be operating on an international stage. So definitely, we have the talent. It's just the right sponsor needs to come behind. Number one, Boxing SA has as well put out a tender advert for a national sponsor. So things are happening. It's just taking a little bit longer, but there's definitely progress in the industry.
Sure. I mean, like you've actually built a successful career in industries as well as on an industry where it's actually traditionally been male dominated. So, as a leader, what lessons have you actually learned from that?
I've learned that if you're passionate about something, just keep your passions and your determination aligned to your goals. Don't let anybody else come into your circle and try and take your shine away. It might not happen today, but it can happen tomorrow, and you just got to keep on persisting through. Working in a civil engineering background as well has taught me that, you know, sometimes you will get the haters and the haters will be hating. But us as females, we need to stand together and support each other and kind of move as a collective and get to the next stage.
Sure. So, I mean, like for one person who's actually listening and also watching on our social media platforms, for that one young girl who wants to be a boxer, how can they actually start?
Oh, wow. There's lots of training gyms, but what I would say is send us a DM on Fighters Club.
Okay.
And we can get you in contact with the right boxing gym and coach. And, you know, the journey isn't as easy as what it seems. It's going to be a lot of, how can they call it, roll with the punches.
Yes.
Excuse the pun. But you know what? If you're serious about it and you have a dream, honestly, we'll try and assist wherever we can.
Sure. And just before we actually wrap up this conversation and then also looking beyond just this event, what is your long-term vision of the Fighters Club boxing promotion?
Like I said earlier on, you know, we need to create a developmental program in South Africa.
Sure.
So I'm currently working with CPUT in Cape Town, where I want to undertake and take their boxing fraternity and expose them to a professional level. So it's about creating a club sense environment amongst tertiary educational, let's call it universities. And that will expose them to the professional level of boxing, if I can put it to you like that, as well gives them time in the ring with these professionals to learn how to spar up and to gear up for those 4-rounders. And that is the key initiative, is to establish a program for the youth so that the youth can take part in it. And then from there we get a continuous stream of amateur boxers that can go into professional and obviously assist Boxing SA to have a platform to feature all these fighters.
Sure. And now I know that I said that was actually my last question, but just as a parting shot, I mean, like for one person probably who hasn't heard about boxing and also who feels like boxing is actually a dangerous sport. So what perception would you give that?
I would give it as boxing is possibly a way to end a means to GBV. And it could take you out of a serious, difficult situation. So even if you don't want to go into the sport as a professionalism, as a profession, go into it for a fitness and all-round defense mechanism combat sport.
Oh, so it's actually more than just a tournament, but also more of like protection.
Correct, yes, 100%. And I think it aids for all of us out there, especially us females. Mommies, look at the time now. We're here sitting in
Yes.
studio. What time are we going to get home?
Yeah.
Anything can happen along the road, and in that way, you have the initial steps to protect yourself.
Sure. And that was the voice of Terry Ann Hart, founder and CEO of Fighters Club Boxing Promotions. Well, thank you so much for joining us here on Africa at Play.
Thank you so much for having me, Prudence.